Right, guys, welcome back to the Harry and Tom Smma podcast. You are listening to episode 9 of our podcast that still has no name. So hope you're enjoying the episodes. If you've not subscribed yet, subscribe. If you're listening on Apple Music, Spotify, and all the other audio platforms, keep downloading each episode because it boosts us up in the rankings. Leave a review because that also helps. But yeah, Tom, how are you?
Good, mate. I'm coming from Pennsylvania at the minute.
Are you? I didn't realize that. I thought you were in New York.
No, yes. So, yeah, I'm far into the West Coast.
Love it. Well, in this episode, we've got quite a few topics that we want to cover. But first, I want to go through a few messages that I've received over the past 2 weeks. I really do like this segment of just highlighting a few key things that we've been told or asked, because I'm sure a load of other people are also thinking about it and have the same questions.
At the beginning of every podcast, we should just have 5 minutes where we cover
just some of the silly questions. I mean, there's no silly questions. I don't want people listening to this thing like we're taking the piss about stupid questions, because there are no stupid questions. I remember asking some horrifically now dumb questions, but at the time that you do just ask them. But one thing that I've been asked this week is, Harry, I'm doing 10 pieces of outreach a day. Is that enough? So first combat that, and I'm going to go into the second part of the question. What do you think of that? 10 outreach a day.
10 outreach a day. Okay. That person it's going to take them like 20 years to sign a client.
Yeah. Well, my first rebuttal to him was, what's that outreach? Because 10 serious cold calls a day is very different than you sending 10 of the same email or 10 of the same DM every day. This person was doing DMs, and I gave him the same answer we always say on this podcast, but there isn't, in terms of he said he was doing 10 Instagram DMs a day, yeah, cold DMs. And he wondered why he didn't get a client, but that's not down to him. He just doesn't know the right way to do things. But there isn't, people always ask me, that's not the first time I've been asked that, is how much outreach do I need to do every day? And that's completely dependent on how quickly you want to see results. That's like someone asking, how many times do I need to practice, I don't know, juggling before I can juggle, isn't it? It's like, or how many times do I need to go to the gym a week? Well, the more times you go, the better you're going to be, or like the more fit you're going to be.
I think it's more like how much outreach do I need to do? What a big factor of it is how good you are. Yeah. Because I don't need to do much outreach because my success rate, my conversion rate is so high. So I could make 10 cold calls and probably get 4 appointments.
Yeah.
In reason. So, but yeah, that could take someone 100 to get 4. So it does depend on how good you are, but you're not going to get better unless you are consistently doing repetition, just like the analogy you just gave for the gym. You know? But if that's 10 outreach a day, unfortunately, he's been told or has an impression that that's enough for success. Like, I think people certainly more so than ever want success to land like quite easily for them and feel that, oh, that will be enough, and it's not working, when actually people who make money, whether it's online or have their own store or whatever, everything is, the most common factor out of all of that is sheer hard work.
Yeah. And well, the second thing, I agree 100%. And the second thing I said to him is, if you've got no clients and you're only doing 10 pieces of outreach a day, what are you doing with the rest of your time? If you own obviously a day job, fine. Like if you've got family to look after, whatever. But 10 pieces of outreach I could do in especially DMs, I could do that in 15, 20 minutes.
20 minutes, yeah.
So you're running your agency for 20 minutes a day and you want to earn 10K a month. Like, that's not going to happen. So in the beginning, what else are you doing? Like, are you spending loads of time building a website that no one's going to see? Are you spending loads of time making your brand perfect, or your logo, or whatever it is? Like, you need to, and we say this all the time in the academy, you need to spend 100% of your time on money-making tasks. And the only money-making task for your agency at the beginning before you get a client is outreach. You need to spend every second available to doing outreach, even if it's at night, even if you're doing LinkedIn outreach because your target audience is on LinkedIn. Yeah, you might not even want to send, you might not want to send messages at 12 p.m. at night, but just draft them up and then send them all at 9 a.m. Like, you need to be doing as much as you can, or doing all your prospecting in the evening so you can cold call them the next day. You've got a list of what they've been doing in the past, what their website is, all of this stuff. That's what you need to be spending your time in. But to do 10 cold DMs a day, which I imagine they weren't targeted, or there was little research gone into them, that's 15 minutes of a day. That's just not enough to get to where you need to be.
It's not. I do think when people are starting out in Smma, you have to write down your priority list and your priority order of how you're going to grow and get clients. You actually do need to map out a bit of a strategy on a personal level. So the first things first is, do you understand Smma? And we talked about this before. Then how are you actually going to get a stranger to trust you, okay, and give you their money? Like, that's a process. That's a real, and it is a serious thing that you need to understand how that process works. Are you going to ring 10 strangers and expect one of them to sign with you? Some people genuinely do. But and it's also a numbers game. We talk about this a lot. It is a numbers game. The more numbers you put in, the better you're going to get, and the better outreach.
Yeah, well, and I said that to the guy that messaged me. And if you're listening to this isn't us, slating you or whatever it is, and we're just bringing it to light to other people, because I'm sure they're feeling the same, and I'm sure they're going to feel the same about what I'm about to say. That he mentioned, I said, what did I say here? I said, you need to be spending more than an hour a day on outreach. And he said, well, I have a problem, Harry. I'm lazy. And I said, I said, mate, the honesty there and the self-awareness to say that you're lazy is amazing, but there isn't a solution to laziness. You just have to get your shit together and know that you can't be a business owner if you're lazy. And he appreciated the straight up, like me being straight up with him. You can't, if you're lazy before you get a client, imagine what you're going to be when you do get a client. You're earning 10 grand a month. How lazy are you going to be then? And it's just going to go to shit.
Like, never earn 10 grand a month.
No, you could.
That person never earn 10 grand a month.
I mean, how would you respond to fixing laziness?
Some people are just born lazy.
Yeah.
They are just born bone idle, and that they're the type of people who just always need to be made accountable for what they do.
Yeah.
There's some things you just can't help people with. One's laziness and one's stupidity. Like, some people are just fucking stupid.
Yeah.
And
I think that, I mean, it's going to be really tough if you're just straight up have made the decision in your head that you're lazy and you can't be willing to put the work in. It does mean you also don't want it enough. If you want something that bad, then you're not going to be lazy. You're only lazy because you either have doubts that it will work, you don't really believe in yourself, or you don't really want it that much. Why else would you be lazy? I've been lazy. I'm a lazy person for things I don't want to do. Like, it's like doing the housework. No one wants to go like hoover your house or whatever, vacuum your house if you're in America. Like, no one does. Everyone's lazy that because it's not enjoyable. But if you find something you enjoy, I don't think you'll be lazy. It's like, I bet you're not lazy when you watch TV or Netflix.
Yeah.
Because you enjoy it, or it's an escape or whatever.
I think there's definitely, you can't help people who are lazy. It's just a motivation thing. And some people do lack a lot of motivation in life. You have to run any successful business, you have to be a very highly motivated individual. You do. And like you say, you have to want it enough. You can't want it enough. And actually Gary say that laziness is a good thing, because you then will only do I've seen something that he said, and he said that you'll then only do the things you want to do, and that you're actually committed to doing. Yeah. So if he said, I'm lazy and I can't do the outreach, and he's just not feeling the vibe enough to be successful. Some people like me and you are just, all we ever think about is being successful and work, and we're so driven, but it's not easy for people. It's not.
It's a tricky one. That's a tricky. I'm sure loads of people feel it. They're lazy.
I've worked with a lot of salespeople, probably over 200-300 salespeople. The best ones are the ones that are most driven and motivated. Like, you can't stop them.
No, and I also think that might be what's preventing a lot of people signing clients, because you can sense laziness. if you self-diagnose yourself with lazy, it means you notice you're lazy, and other people are going to notice you're lazy as well, even by how you speak, how you communicate, how you hold yourself, your body language. So if you've had meetings and you self-diagnose yourself as lazy, I'm sure those clients recognize you're lazy as well. If you sloppily put a presentation together, or you're sloppy on phone calls or turning up to a meetings on time, they're going to recognize that as well. No business is going to pay you a substantial retainer to someone that's lazy, because it will show in your work. And I'm no doubt that the clients will sense that. So you do need to just you just get your shit together, really, don't you?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you can build up to it. If you're lazy in terms of you can't do loads of outreach, just every day make sure you do 5 more. Like, you do 10 today, make sure you do 15 tomorrow. You don't have to just jump into, if you're lazy at 10 outreach a day, doesn't mean you need to dive into 200 a day. Just slowly build yourself up. I think that's the best constructive criticism I can give.
I don't have a lot of time for lazy people, mate.
No, me neither, but I don't want to just, in terms of giving some constructive criticism, not constructive criticism, some constructive advice. But I agree. I think you will struggle. You will really struggle.
Yeah, whoever, they just need to sort it out. But
yeah. Well, let's leave that there.
Any more?
I've had a few, but that's the one that kind of stood out, really. Let's dive into the topics we've got written down.
Okay. Well, we were going to talk today about what software we use in our agency.
Yep.
And I think people will find that quite interesting. And then what platforms we use to advertise on. So I'll kick things off with the platforms bit, because that's a really quick one, and then we'll go on software.
Yep.
So what platforms do me and Harry use to advertise our clients? That would be, this might be a surprise, but it's not just the Meta platforms. So we use Facebook and Instagram, of course, but we also use YouTube and we use TikTok. They're probably the top 3. Snapchat ads, me and you, we don't have the audience for that. We don't have clients that warrant being on Snapchat. Although we know how to run Snapchat ads, we don't. And then the only other spin on that would be email. We do a lot of email marketing and SMS, but they're not platforms. That's just like that's an additional way of marketing a product. So in terms of actual online advertising platforms, it's YouTube, Facebook, Meta, and TikTok.
And then we do a bit of Google for certain clients that require it, but it's not something we heavily lean on or really teach. Google,
no, it's not. But we do have clients that we use Google Ads for. It's an expensive platform, and it's a time and a place for it. So
for certain clients.
So that's really the platforms we use. YouTube ads, if those listening, you don't understand it, obviously we teach it, but that's not what we're talking about today. But there's different ways you can advertise on YouTube. One is a skippable ad. So if you're on YouTube, like you would be if you're watching our podcast or whatever, you will get, pretty much every time you go on, you'll get an ad that will appear before the video you're about to watch. Now,
and then they're now adding those to shorts as well.
Perfect. So not perfect, it's good for us, for advertisers, it's fantastic. So first 5 seconds, the skip button will come up after 5 seconds. Now, if you hit say you're watching something and an ad comes up, you've got 5 seconds to make a decision. Keep watching the ad or skip and watch the video that you intended to watch. Now, if you hit the skip button, the person running the ad, i.e. me and you or our client, they do not get charged. That's completely free. So you actually get 29, that's 30 seconds, but 30 seconds completely free. So even if someone watches 29 seconds of the ad on YouTube and still haven't hit skip, and then on the 29th second they hit skip, you've still not paid for it, okay? Because it doesn't go down as what's classed as a view, and you only pay for a view, and a view is anything over 30 seconds. Of course, if then they watch your ad and they hit the call to action, you get charged for the click, okay? So you get charged on clicks as normal. Well, there's different ways of laying it up, but it's an incredible way of getting free exposure for your client. So that's all I really need to touch on. There's other ways of advertising on YouTube. You can have it like Facebook, where it can be like a static post appears up on the right hand side. Google then is part of the Google platform, so you can then, Google will show your ad on lots of different Google based platforms, not just YouTube, predominantly YouTube, but it will push it around other places. And then there's things like display ads, so you can be on the side as a recommended watch. There's lots and lots of different ways YouTube can come to your agency and help you and your client. So that's kind of really it. And there's a time and a place when we use YouTube ads. TikTok, so TikTok ads, what makes that good? We use TikTok for more of the e-com. Okay, it's an incredible platform for e-com, and actually you get a 14% higher ROAS at the moment with TikTok ads. That's what TikTok is saying. I don't disprove that. I think that's probably the case. It does also work for lead gen. The misconception with TikTok is that it's a very young audience. It's not. It's very evenly split into thirds. So 33% of it are people aged 24 to 30, and then you've got about 35% of people who are in my bracket of age, late 30s to 50. So the age group has completely expanded. It's a maturing platform. And the beauty about TikTok is it is cheaper to advertise on TikTok than it is on Meta by a mile.
Yeah,
because
I think
people will be saying, though, Harry, well, why is it? It's because there's less competition.
Yeah.
So it's not as saturated, basically.
Yeah, I think for everyone listening, there's so many different platforms available that you've gone through, and there's more. You can do Pinterest ads, Twitter ads. There's ads on all platforms that you can do, and it's just you needing to put your marketing head on and realize, right, I know all of these platforms, and I know I'm going to get the best results here, or I know I can portray the product best here. For example, like weekend getaways. If I had a spa I was working with, not a US spa. When I say spa in the UK, I mean like a swimming pool, sauna. I don't know what you'd call them really. Because spas are very different in the US, aren't they? I think they are. It's a getaway essentially. If I was advertising one of those clients, I'd make sure that they were on TikTok 100% of the time, producing loads of content, because so many people now are finding places to get away or vacation spots or the best hotels on holidays through searching on TikTok. Like advertising that on Facebook and Instagram would just be a complete waste of money, in my opinion. So you have to be so aware, and what you also need to be aware of is the client's going to have their own opinion as well, and a lot of the time you're going to have to disagree with them, because someone who's mentioned to me before, they've cold called a client and they've said, no, we need to be advertising on Google, Facebook ads don't work for this, when actually, when he told me that, it was actually the complete opposite, and he needs to then tell him what the actual state of play was. Because a lot of the time, like, you're the expert, not them. You need to take them into consideration because they know their industry, but you need to tell them what platform they need to be advertising on and what they need to be doing. So I think it's just being self-aware and just knowing the industry of where you're going to get the best results, and that's what platform you choose.
Also, the thing that people really need to consider is your client's product best sold in a video format or a static post format? And that's really, really important. If you can sell the product better through video, do not go on the Meta platforms, because Meta is not a video-based platform. Yes, you have Reels, I get it, and you can post a video on Instagram. It's not effective. It's not what Instagram is known for. It's not designed for video very well, which is why people are now consuming content on other platforms such as YouTube Shorts and TikTok, because that type of content now is far more engaging. Instagram is good for social proof, for profile, but ask yourself, right, this is a hotel, this is a spa, this is a getaway, this is a dentist, even to that degree. Seeing the product and seeing the brand in a video format is way, way stronger.
Yeah, because there are like, for example, products. There's a lot of products that you need to see how they work in a video form for you to buy. Or if your brand relies very heavily on a story behind it, or I don't know, or like an urban feel behind a particular product, it's going to be very difficult to get that across in a static image. So it's like, why, and if you've got a video and you can make a video, and for example, those spa videos, they're very kind of, they're customer made. They're not really high end videography. It's very,
Well, TikTok,
they're organic.
TikTok, film your TikTok ads in the TikTok app. They don't want you filming it. And the more, if you're using TikTok to run ads for your client, it can be done and filmed in the TikTok app. Get your clients to experiment and produce a whole bunch of different TikToks. You know, they may need to be shown how to use the app, fine, or they will know. You know, TikTok's a massive platform, but the thing that you need to remember with TikTok ads is it has to look like a TikTok, because you're disguising it basically. And those who are watching, if you're on TikTok, you will do the same. When you know it's an ad, you've swiped up because you know it's an ad. The ones that get you are the ones that disguise it as a TikTok, and actually you think, oh, this is cool, this is engaging. Oh shit, this is a promoted post. Like,
it can't look like an ad on TikTok.
No, it can't.
No,
it really can't.
It has to look like the person you're following, or you're falling into an algorithm that they're bringing this new product to you. If it looks like a really manufactured ad, and we've had that, we've worked with clients and they've said, oh, that doesn't look, I don't know what words they used. It didn't look like a TV ad, or you know, those really manufactured ads, and we were like, you don't understand the space. It has to be really organic and look like someone on the platforms produced it.
And also, I think with TikTok ads, some of the best TikTok ads really you can run are ones where they're done in the third person. So, like for example, if you're working with a dentist or anything really, if having a person in the third person, almost giving a testimonial, like a review on the ad, it catches them out. So those that are listening, like, I'll give you an example. We work with an app, a driving app. The driving app is designed to help people understand their driving routes before their test. Now, you can do static posts all day long on that, but no one's going to read it. However, getting a person in the demographics, so say, for example, a female aged 19, okay, saying, hey guys, I've just discovered this app. It does this. It helped me do this. And now I can live my life by doing this. She's almost like, she's not working for the brand. She's reviewing the brand, and it holds loads of weight because people love being told to buy something because it's good. So doing those type of ads filmed in a TikTok style of ad is huge, and you do get a good click-through rate. You get people investing in your brand because they think, if it's worked for her, it would work for me.
Yeah, no, couldn't agree more with that, mate.
On Instagram, you can't get that message across on Instagram at all. Instagram ads, by the way, for those listening, it is hugely saturated, massively. There's a time and a place for it, and we use them to our advantage for certain products, but the space is changing. It really is changing. I think more ads are going to be shown on Reels than anything else. I think Instagram will change its platform to suit that too. But you've only those now. You can go on your phone now, go on Instagram stories, and you'll notice 1 in every 3 is an ad. Sometimes you'll get hit with 2 ads in less than 4 posts. So you will, and now I've said that, you'll notice it. You'll be like, fucking hell, Tom's right. It is every three stories is an ad.
Yeah. No,
it's too much. It is too much.
It is, mate. Well, the platforms are changing, and you can either be stubborn and think, right, this has worked for the past 2 years, I'm going to stick with it, refuse to learn different platforms, or you can just adapt and just accept, right, a new platform's come out or a new algorithm change has happened. My results might drop for a bit while I learn this new way, but it'll be better for me in the long run. And I think you've just got to you got to keep your mind open and not rest on your laurels, in the sense that, right, I've been getting a 10x ROAS on Facebook with this particular style of ad for this client for a year. Now it's starting to dip. Am I just going to sit there and hope it changes, or am I actually going to do something about it and learn a new way? I think that's kind of the bottom line. And then just learn how to adapt your marketing on those different platforms, because you can't keep it the same.
I don't think you can get results on the Meta platform without a decent budget. Like if you're fucking around with £8 a day daily, unless you've got a spectacular service and a spectacular product, you are really going to struggle to cut into being a priority with Meta.
Yeah.
The more you spend with Meta, the more a priority you become.
Yeah.
And the more you spend, the better type of people you get. That is an absolute fact.
Yeah.
And you know, people be like, well, he's only got a £6 a day daily budget. Well, fucking hell. Like, is he serious about his marketing or not? What's the value of his product? If the value of his product, his or her product, is like one sale could be $500 or $2,000, you need to be spending significant amount of money to get those sales. You can't fuck around with £6 daily budget.
No,
you know, $300 on it. It's just, you won't get there.
No, and I think that, but
on TikTok and YouTube, but not.
I think budgets are a really interesting issue, because I think with certain lead generation businesses, if you're running lead gen campaigns, I think you can get away with a £500 a month budget, because that's what's that, like 15, almost £20 a day. That's a decent budget for a local lead gen, 40-mile radius around the whatever the business is, to bring in leads. But when you go into kind of nationwide, the whole of the US, whole of the UK, e-com services, £500 a day is going to do fucking diddly squat.
Nothing. It won't break the camel.
Especially if you're selling like a clothing brand. If you're starting to work with a clothing brand, you're targeting the whole of the UK. You're with a £500 a day budget, you're fucked. You're competing with Boohoo. You're competing with ASOS. You're competing with all of the fucking Megatron businesses and you're like, I've got £10 here. Facebook going to be like, no, well, I don't care about keeping you advertising. I care about keeping ASOS. So they're going to get all the good traffic.
The best thing to do if you have a low budget for ads is to, it's hard to explain it on this podcast, but there's ways in which you want to basically turn that traffic into email marketing. So you want to be building, if you've got a really small budget, you need to find what we teach, but there's a strategy you can put in place to build your email list. That's your key priority, is your email list. The reason I say that, emailing people is free to do. So you just need to find out, instead of getting sales on the Meta platform with a low budget, get them to submit their email instead. And you'll get, because it's a low entry point, because people are just could be sign up to our newsletter and get £5 coupon, whatever, discount voucher, whatever it is. But get them to submit their email, and a genuine email, because you can then market these people long term. If you can, with a £5 daily budget, get 400 new email addresses, okay, it will change the outcome of that brand, because you're then emailing them for free.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that goes back to the whole kind of philosophy of Facebook ads or any online marketing is the aim of turning traffic that you pay for into traffic that you own. And that can be across all levels. That can be email marketing. It can be a following on Instagram. It can be a following on YouTube. Once you use the platforms to grow a following that you own and you can market to for free, then you don't need to rely on paid traffic. That's the whole aim of it. And if you're a startup business, say you launched a business yesterday, you've got your inventory, it's time to sell it, it's time to market it. If you make the decision, I've got a 500, even if you've got £1,000 a month daily budget for a business you've just started yesterday with no data, you're going to struggle to get, you're going to really struggle to get to profit over that year, even if you spent 12 grand in that year, depending on what the product is. If you've got an excellent product, that's fine. But if you've got a mediocre product, no real USPs other than a logo or whatever, you're going to really struggle. I'd recommend spending that time and money into producing really good, valuable content. Grow organically. Same with you. If you're going to spend money on ads, do it to help boost the traffic that you own. So help it grow your social channels you own, help grow your email marketing list. So then you can send more content and more and get more traffic to your site for free. That's similar to what you said, but I think people rely too heavily on ads. They start a business and go, right, just because I'm putting £1,000 into ads, I'm entitled to make loads of money. But it doesn't. It's difficult because people have been made to believe that there is a magic wand, and we've said that before, but it isn't. There's so much that goes into it. And if you're a startup business, you have to have your content. Every business needs to be a content production company, but above everything else.
But also, you know, people go on a lot in our industry about ROAS and ROI, and you should be getting this, you should be getting that. The platform on Meta is fucked for reporting. Like, no one knows what they're getting in terms of ROAS at all. It's fucked. It's damaged. It is long-term damage because people, with the iOS 14 update, and people have the choice now whether they want to be tracked online or not and have personalized ads. And the way that message was delivered on the Apple software encouraged a not to track response.
Yeah.
It means that though all these people that go on and on and on about you can get 10x ROAS, you know, and showing you the inside of their ad account, it means fuck all because it's damaged. It doesn't mean anything, that data anymore.
Yeah, that doesn't mean that it's impossible. That doesn't mean it's impossible to get a ROAS on Facebook. It just means people showing I've spent this and this is the ROAS it said in Facebook means fuck all, because the only way you're going to find out your ROAS is by talking to the client using a range of different tracking softwares, using your Google Analytics, using the analytics on their website, using the Facebook stuff. You've got to use all of it along with past data and the history of the company of what they've been earning, and analyze it from a numerical perspective and say, right, this is actually what I've brought in.
It makes me laugh when people go on and are still going on about the inside of their ad accounts. You don't get it. People don't get you don't get it. It's not the same data anymore. It's completely irrelevant.
Yeah.
And some people might challenge, well, it's not actually, because I've done this and I got that and it did match up fine. But that it all depends on, we work with a brand that the demographic of is women who are 48 to 60. Okay, we work with an e-com brand that is growing and is becoming hugely successful. Those people all have private Instagram profiles because they're twitchy about, you know, people looking at themselves, you know, looking into their life. They are all majority coming onto Instagram, but a lot are on Facebook. All right, but also when it comes to being asked, would you like to be tracked? They shit themselves and say no.
Yeah.
So, because that's their age group, that they're just a bit more cautious about that sort of stuff. So for us, we know the tracking with this particular ecom brand, it means fucking nothing until we go into Shopify and we look exactly how many sales we've had this month, how much we've spent on ads, how much is the entire marketing cost been. Then we know, okay, that is a return of this. We are breaking even. We are making this much profit. But I wouldn't take anything from a fucking meta data source at all.
No, definitely not.
Okay, well, let's move on, mate. So that's software. No, so that's platforms. In terms of softwares, so people say, okay, well, what do you use to run your agency in terms of software?
Should we pick off? I don't know. We could go on forever, the amount of softwares we use, but the biggest, I'll start with.
Go top 5.
Okay, my top 5, I've got Zapier or Zapier, however you want to say it, is 100% up there for me. It's the backbone that keeps all campaigns together. Essentially, what Zapier is it's an automation software. So you can say you choose a trigger point and then you choose steps after it of what you want to happen after that trigger point is triggered. So you have a funnel, a lead comes in, you say, right Zapier, this is the trigger point when a lead comes in. Now I want you to do the following. So you make a ClickFunnels account, you create a funnel, lead comes in. I now want you to add all of that information to a Google spreadsheet. I also want you to send a confirmation email to this person. I want you to send a confirmation email to the client and the agency so we know leads are coming through. I then want you to do another follow-up point of sending an SMS text message. Then I want you to add that email that's come through on the funnel to a MailChimp account under a specific audience and tag that email. So it's essentially automation software that you add all of your other softwares to. So you'll connect your MailChimp, you'll connect your Fire Text, which will all go through, which you'll connect your Google Sheets, you'll connect your ClickFunnels, you'll connect everything to Zapier. So then you can manage all of them and trigger them so everything's automated, because you don't want a lead to come in. You have to then right, a lead to come in. Let me text the person. Let me text my client and say, this is the lead, this is his number, ring him. You want it all automated. So as soon as the lead comes through, zap straight to them. Even if you're out of the shops, they get the email and everything's covered.
Yeah, yeah. So it's basically, those are listening, Harry's explained that really well. It's a middleman doing the legwork for you. So you have software A, it needs to get to person B, okay, or so person C, sorry, And so person B is Zapier, and Zapier takes the information and goes, okay, what are we doing with it? We're going to send it over there. Fine. So it integrates with loads and loads of different softwares, because not every software has all the capabilities, but Zapier will fill in the blanks and just do it for you. But that, for me, I would say Zapier is probably
essential.
I think it's one of the best softwares of the last 10 years.
It's for I don't know what you do without it.
Well,
You couldn't.
And it's so reasonable. It's not cheap, but it's because it depends on how many zaps you're sending and all that sort of stuff. But for the value you get, value for money wise, I don't think there's a software where you get better value for money.
Yeah, and that's a software that you don't need to pay for until you get a client. Pretty much all of these,
it's free.
It's free for like 100 zaps, I think. When we say zaps, that's how many actions. So like a lead comes in, it sends it through a zap. That's just what a zap is. But yeah, you only need to pay that once you get a client. There's no need to have that until a client pays you.
So Zapier is a big one.
Yeah.
I think that the other huge one, which I couldn't live without, is Canva, which I'll explain. So those who don't know what Canva is, go on to Canva, Canva.com. So Canva.com. It is basically a graphic design software. So there's hundreds and thousands of stocked images on the platform. So you don't have to pay for, or worry about copyright. They own all the images. So if you're working with a dentist or anything really, you type it, a spa, let's say, you type it in, and you'll get an abundance of images come up, which are all license free because Canva own them. You can manipulate those images. You can put text over. They've got loads of templates. There's no coincidence that Canva is like $1 billion business now, and their growth in the last 4 years has just been outrageous. But in terms of software, it is fantastic for when you're putting together even presentations for your clients. To do a presentation, it's got presentation templates and they look super professional. And you can click Instagram post and it will give you a good template, the template size, and a Facebook template size. And if you want a YouTube banner done, it's got a YouTube banner template and examples. Super good. It's free at the beginning. If you want to get more access to more pictures, you have to pay the $10 a month fee or whatever it is. It's something like that. But Canva I think it's absolutely an amazing software.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's just like in summary, just a free graphic design software, isn't it? So you don't have to pay for Illustrator or whatever, and it's easy to use.
And those who, we talk about being creative in this job, you do have to have some creative, a creative brain to a degree. But Canva, you put yourself into Canva and the creativeness kind of is taken off you a tiny bit because it gives you loads of ideas, and then you just manipulate them and put your own spin on it and brand it the way the client wants it branded and that sort of stuff. So Canva is really good. Other softwares we use, well, we'd say ClickFunnels.
ClickFunnels doesn't need loads of explaining.
No.
Just where you create your funnels. A big one for me, which is people will find useful for your contracts. So in the beginning, before you can afford to get, a professional lawyer to produce you a perfect contract for your agency, which isn't needed until you get to a certain point, a website called Rocket Lawyer. Check it out. And what it does is you can go into a service agreement, the tab of service agreement. And what it is professional lawyers, chartered lawyers and accountants upload their documents to Rocket Lawyer for you to use. If you can buy one for unlimited use for like $35, I think, if you want a business service agreement, which just outlines, just a general contract for a business working with a business. You fill in all the details. So you type in, right, this is my business name. This is the client's business name. These are the kind of terms that I want in the agreement, and it produces a document for you and you can edit it. And that's being produced by a chartered and professional lawyer. So it's super used. $35, you can get a lawyer produced document. Then you can also electronically send those documents to your clients to get electronically signed, and it keeps it on your file in Rocket Lawyer. Super useful. And so a lot of people do ask, right, what do we do about contracts? Do we need them? Yeah, get one together. It protects you. It ties them into a particular contract or contract length. Sorry. So yeah, definitely worth using.
Okay. And then I'd say the next one we use a lot of is Firetext.
Yeah.
And something called ClickSend. They're both essentially the same thing, but Firetext, if you're listening, it is an SMS text messaging service. So when a lead comes in, we can text the person to say, thank you for filling out the lead, and this is now what the process is going to be. Sometimes we'll send our leads to clients via a text messaging service. We've got a client that we do, SMS marketing for. So we have 2,000 or something like 2,000, 3,000 phone numbers, and we text them once a week with a special offer or discount code, just letting them know what the situation is. We will be closed for the Queen's funeral, for example. A text message went out to all their clients, all done through Firetext or ClickSend. They're both a very similar service. I prefer Firetext for the way the software is when you go to put your messages in. I think ClickSend's a bit bumpy, but that's something we pay for and use a lot.
Yeah. No, I think that's a good top 5, mate.
In fact, actually, just a bit of advice for someone here. If your client wants to start doing SMS, they set up the Firetext account and they give you access to it. So they will upload credit. Okay. So they will probably put maybe £1,000 of credit on the Firetext account. One message is one credit. Okay. So you're not picking up the expense on the text messaging. Now we do for certain clients, Harry, don't we? The ones that pay us big retainers. We just pick it up because
I think it's,
so that's why we do it.
It's actually a good point, like in terms of who picks up what. And I think a good rule of thumb is if you are using a software that you can use for multiple clients, then you pick it up. But if it's a software that only that client are using and it's racking up a lot of money, then they pick it up. So if you're charging a client £800 a month for a retainer, you don't want to be picking up a Firetext software where they've got 6,000 contacts and it's racking up a bill of 400 because your fee gets cut in half. But if you've got 10 clients and you've created a funnel for each of them, you need to make a ClickFunnels account that you manage all of their funnels on. Like, you don't want them to pay for a ClickFunnels account. It doesn't make sense. Like, you just need to be aware. And those softwares that cost more for the more contacts that you add, you just need to be right. We'll pick it up for the first 100 contacts or whatever, and then you pick it up once it takes off.
I think it's very fair to go back to your client and say, look, we now need to, we need email marketing and SMS marketing to grow your brand. These are your digital assets, and these are actually something that you need to own personally, because say something happened to you or me and we got, or they wanted to go their own way. Sometimes you part ways with clients, absolutely fine. Do they want to be parting ways when we own everything?
Yeah.
Because they're left with nothing. So if you get a bit of pushback or you want to know why or how to approach that subject of, say, a MailChimp account or an active campaign account, then just say to them, look, this will be something you own. This is in your name with your email address. You're just giving me access to it. And, you will want that it's in your best interest to make sure you own that.
Yeah.
Your Firetext account, do you want to be messing around at another time, having to find all your numbers again? And all the people, and look back through previous text messages that you've sent and when you sent them. They need to own that. That's their right. That's their property. So you just manage it on their behalf. Yeah. But it's also like, if people are asking about how do you charge ad spend for Facebook ads or Meta ads, sorry. You never pick up the ad spend for your client. Never include it in your retainer either. It's just, you don't do that. The client has a responsibility to pay that platform directly. That is their responsibility. And that is what Meta would want. That's what Google want. That's what TikTok want. The client to pay for it themselves. You just operate and manage that budget on their behalf, and they're paying you a fee to do so.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more, mate.
There'd be someone very quickly saying, and I can feel it, is I can't use Meta ads because I'm banned. Now, we will have to talk about that in a whole different podcast.
Yeah.
Because we've talked about that, and I think we may touch on it in the next couple of podcasts, so listen out for it. But there are things you can do, and there's maybe a process you can try. There's what is the plan B when you get banned from
Meta?
And
what to do, because it will happen. It will happen to a lot of people. Okay. Well, let's wrap it up there, mate. That was a good episode.
Yeah, cool. Hope that's been useful. Cool.
Yeah, hope everyone enjoyed that, guys. Make sure to subscribe, because there's a lot of people listening, or especially on YouTube, that aren't subscribed. So just helps us out, and it makes sure that you can watch all the future episodes. But yeah, if you're interested in any of our mentorship programs, you want to work closely with Tom, you want to hop on a call with us one-to-one, for any mentorship, click the link underneath the video. Check out Digital Culture Academy. There's a 19 or 22-minute video on there where I discuss everything there is to know about the mentorship program, what's included, what's going to happen after you enroll, and I'm sure you'll be blown away once you watch it. So click the link in the description, and yeah, check it out, and then we'll see you on Thursday.